just interesting day. You know, we've got the second signing. We've had one official signee added to our roster, and expecting one more later today. But obviously the first December signing was the majority of our guys, which is what was expected. So Brendan Soresby has officially joined our football team, quarterback from Lake Dallas, Texas, and really excited about what he brings. And I tell you, he's a big young man that has tremendous athleticism and arm talent and the ability. I think the upside is really, really high for him, and has not played the position as many years as a lot of guys that have that were in his recruiting class here. And so I think that's a big reason why he was evaluated a little later in the process, but at the same time really feel really excited about what he will bring to our program and leadership and his athleticism and the ability for him to be able to make all the throws and then be able to create things with his legs as well when that calls for that. So we're excited about adding Brandon. Also, for us, since the last time that we had our signing day press conference in December, we've added some guys to our roster that I'd like to make sure that we talk about. Connor Bazelak, quarterback from Missouri, a transfer that is now on campus and going to class and working out with us, and really excited about what he brings to our football team, and being a 2-year starter there, and the co-SEC Player of the Year as a freshman Player of the Year offensively in the 2020 season. So really excited about his character, quality of a young man that he is. We recruited him the first time around, so that was a big part of us being able to already know his family and have that relationship, and he's already been on campus prior to that, and those are things that really matter to me. And Jared Casey, young man coming to us, linebacker coming to us from Kentucky, has really enjoyed getting the chance to get to know him here as he's with us now, enrolled and taking classes and working out with us, and really I think his athleticism has already shown up in our workouts and been noted by our strength staff, and really love his attitude and his the football IQ that he's going to bring to us in that room. Also, Miles Jackson, a young man from UCLA, transfer that brings us tremendous power and explosiveness, really good size to the bowl position, and really excited about him as a guy that was probably the first one our strength staff talked about after he'd been here and started working out with our guys. So really excited about him, just a quality young man, comes from a really good family, and really enjoyed the process. And we actually had a chance to really get to know them a little bit longer, but really feel like he's a great fit with our program culturally, and then going to be a great fit on the field as well. And then also 2 high school guys that had joined the class after that we had the initial signing in December. Omar Cooper signed with us on Friday, that signing period, and really obviously a guy that was committed to us for a long time, very well acquainted with he and his family. Been watching him play ever since he was a sophomore. Just the athleticism, the ball skills, the ability to just go get to football and make plays. Everybody you talk to in the conference that he played in, the teams that played against him, just a consistent theme of his just competitiveness and his athleticism and playmaking ability, making those plays in space, which is a huge emphasis for this class for us, and the quality of his character. I've always said it, and I said this to he and his family, but when I first watched him play when he was a sophomore, sit on the sideline and talking to their administration from his high school there at Lawrence North, and all they talked about was what a quality young man he was. I mean, his athleticism was obvious on the football field, but it was the young man that he was, and the way he carried himself and the way he treated people, and just the way that they respected him was something that stuck out to me from the very, very beginning. So love that about him. And then Cameron Perry, wide receiver out of Marietta, Georgia, Marietta High School there in Atlanta. Really talented, explosive player, getting the ball in his hands in space. And he's a young man that just had him up here for his official visit and spending time with his family, and got a chance to go down there and spend time with them on a home visit. And just a young man that I believe fits with us, and is going to have a chance to come up here and make plays in our offense. And so just really excited about those 6 guys that we've added since the last time that we have had a chance to meet and talk about them, and obviously have all the guys that are here enrolled. We have 19 mid-year enrollees currently with us, which is a huge number of guys that we're already working with and in our program, being developed every single day, and have already met with the majority of them already one-on-one in my office, and that's a very important time for me, and that will continue, and just to be able to hold them accountable, to build those relationships, continue to grow, and my ability to understand them and what motivates them, what they care about, and the things that will allow me to be able to most effectively lead, guide, and direct them while they're here with us. So really excited about this group, the way the workouts are going, and obviously it's a process you go through to get ready for spring football, but we're into that in a heavy sense right now as we're now off the road, and look forward to having some more questions here.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
I'm okay. You talked about Cameron Perry. Last year you guys brought in DJ Matthews. I know he was a transfer, but those kind of guys, you haven't had a lot of them in your program at receiver. It's been more the 6'1", 6'2" type of guys. Was that kind of an emphasis? And I guess how important is it to maybe get those smaller guys who may not have the reach to catch the ball, but are fast, quick, explosive, and you could really use them in space across the middle of the field.
Yeah, that would be accurate, that it was a focus. It's something that I really felt we had a need for. Obviously you saw how effective Whop Figure was in our offense, and the way that he created those mismatches in the interior of the defense, and trying to be able to get open and create that space. And there's a role for those kind of guys, and we try to have, you want a receiver room that has different body types in it, and you don't want to have, too high a number of guys that aren't quite as big, but at the same time, there's no doubt in my mind that those guys create issues for defenses, and do a great job of getting the ball to them in space, and allow them to make guys miss, create separation, and get first downs and score points. So yes, I'm excited about adding Cameron to our team in that role, as well as already having DJ here for an additional year. And that was the focus when DJ was brought in here to replace Whop, and obviously his season was cut short with the injury, but now I've had a chance to bring in a true freshman that'll come in here and be developed in that same way. So that's the kind of vision we have for that spot.
Tom, I just want to start asking about Soresby. Just how important was it just to get somebody that, like you said, can make sort of the off-platform throws, that can make things happen when there isn't sort of a clean pocket? And just how do you feel about the quarterback room as a whole, having added him? And Connor, that was obviously a priority to get a transfer in the high school guy.
It truly was, and that was what our objective was from the beginning of this process. Was to be able to bring in an older transfer as well as a younger player, and I looked at several different options for that, and obviously the off-platform throws that you mentioned. To me, I kind of say it like, to be able to create something out of nothing is really the simplest way to put it, and that is often with your legs, and to be able to create. Things don't always go. You watch every game at every level. That's reality of what you have to do, and the great ones are able to do that. And just having maybe just the size as well. I love the a guy 6'2" plus frame, and 220 plus pounds already, not even in college yet. And but just to be able to have a guy that can make those movements and create extended plays, and to be able to give the secondary more stress as the receivers have a chance to get open when those things break down. So Brendan's a guy that meets those qualities we're looking for, and did a national search to be able to find him, and really excited about what he brings to us. Yeah, so to me, Cam's obviously our leader at that position, at the stinger position there, and has established himself, and so excited to see his leadership even grow more in the time we've been back on campus. And he's a young man that I met with when the season was over, and he is a guy that we just really want to see grow in that role. He was already been a strong leader for us, but with the graduation of Micah moving on to the NFL now, and that that to me is really a great opportunity for Cam to take that role. And Jared Casey's coming in, as we mentioned, and Bradley Jennings, two transfers coming in, and already excited to get those guys and their maturity and their experience as well. And then Aaron Casey, is a guy that we're going to in the springtime, have him move to Mike linebacker and be able to play that position. He's one of our bigger, stronger, faster size speed ratio guys at that position. And then obviously, as you know, we brought in some freshmen as well. Got some guys already here as well to be able to compete for those spots. But Nassau Mccull is going to be at the weak side linebacker position as well as playing the bowl positions, on rush down situations to be able to learn both of those. And then we got Caden Turner, who's also here as a true freshman that's with us right now. So just some new faces at that room. But as we've always talked about defensively, the value of that position and how critical it is to have great linebacker play, and just to having a guy like Cam back with his experience and his athleticism, it's a huge plus. And so, but I expect those other guys to step up that have been playing college football, and then the new guys to come in. Isaiah Jones will be here in the summer, and he's another guy I have high expectations for. And we've also got several guys in that room that have been here, and I know Matt Holt's a guy that we've singled out in the past and how effective he was, and really a guy that caught my attention early on since he's been here, and a guy that I expect to be in there to compete and earn playing time. So it's a room that's got some new faces without question, but really excited about the potential of those linebackers.
Tom, you've got several sort of unprecedented things kind of going on right now. With, such a huge class for one. You've got 19 kids, as you mentioned, already here too. But a lot of them were recruited by coaches who aren't here anymore. Has this been sort of a different January and now into February for you too, where there's been sort of a lot of new relationship building going on as well?
In some ways, I think that would be accurate. I think that the common denominator, though, would be me. And when you talk to the guys, and as some changes have unfolded, that's been kind of as we talk to them and go through, even talk about the change that might have affected them in their position room, that's kind of been the thing that even they're responsible. Well, you know what, Coach, you're still there, and that's a big reason why I'm here, and that's a big part of all this. And I get it, it's part of it, that to be able to have other people involved with those, and the new guys coming in to be able to start building those, and that's where the relationships are being built, or with the new coaches that have joined our staff, after they had already either signed here or committed here, or a little bit of both. And so, but the relationships, that's one thing why we staff recruit a lot here, is to be able to create those relationships without more than just one person that's recruiting you per your position. That's the recruiting coach, that side of the football, that whole side, and obviously myself, very, very involved. I'm very involved with all these guys and getting to know them, getting to know their families, and spending time with them. So, but yeah, I think there's been some change. There's no question about it. And that's part of this at times. And so we're going to be able to, I think one thing that we do really well here is build those relationships, whether it's growing them once they get here. Obviously, they start throughout the recruiting process. So yeah, but that's obviously some new challenges as well. But it also is right in our wheelhouse of what I think is what makes us who we are. So we just have to do a tremendous job, and that's been a big charge for me and our guys. But also when you hire guys that are aligned with us and share in that value of relationship building and know how critical it is to being successful in that room, then that process has just been started for some of them, but it's definitely the emphasis is no different than it's always been. So, but yeah, that's why I think it makes even more exciting this offseason to be able to have some new faces, new things, and especially certain positions that we kind of started this week was our first time getting in position groups and doing some things, that we're allowed to do at this time of year has been, you realize how many new faces there are in certain spots. So that excites me, and looking forward to being able to see these guys grow and develop.
Sammy, the mic.
Good afternoon, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing great, Sammy. Good to see you.
With the early signing period, it's been around for almost a handful of years now. Sorry, the security alarm's not back. It's been around for a handful of years. With so much fluidity, with players transferring, coaching changes, and all that stuff, is this something that needs to be tweaked? Does it need to go back to a one signing day period? What needs to happen to make it a little bit more efficient and fair for all
Yeah, that's a good question. We had our head coaches meeting at the convention here a few weeks ago, and that was discussed. I think there's a lot of unknowns that aren't being resolved yet. They will be, I think, here in the next year or so. I think even just there was a lot of questions and discussions about the transfer portal window and what that should look like and how that should marry up with the signing days and the different opportunities that creates. Because there was definitely a compressed time period once even the second signing took place to when you were trying to get guys, to enroll by second semester before you started class, and not everybody starts class on the same day, so how does that match up? So there's a lot of variables right now, and I can't sit here and tell you that I have the answer to all of them. I do feel like that in one sense of it, the early signing has been a super positive thing for a program like ours to be able to focus on a certain group of guys, get them here in the springtime and the summer for the visits, and then they make the decisions to commit somewhere in that window before their senior season starts, and then you just continue through that, and then when the season's over, they sign there in December. So it's the change that now has been more a part of college football with the transfer portal, and the coaching changes continue to be probably as much as it's always been. I don't know numerically if there's more right now than in the past, but there's definitely been quite a few at a lot of different places. So I do think that would make some sense to be able to have guys a chance to be able to have more time to make their decision about who's going to be coaching them in those situations. So a lot of change it's been happening lately. I think there's going to be more change coming in regards to some of these things, but definitely a lot of discussions, not a lot of clear answers. A lot of people have opinions about that. I don't think they're going to go back to one signing day, just from hearing the talk. But there is definitely trying to decide when those signing periods should be, if they need to be adjusted. And like I said, I think sometimes where the transfer portal and all that is created, that needs to kind of maybe level itself out to kind of see how it's going to look, moving forward before they make some dramatic changes that affect that strongly. So I do think that there will probably be some change in the signing. I don't know exactly what that will be, sooner or it'll be later than the current date, but I do think there's some pressure to be able to make it a little later so guys can have opportunity to make the best decision possible.
Yeah, hey coach, you put together your best ever recruiting class right on the heels of a pretty rough season. How much time did you have to spend reassuring guys, that were interested that this past season wasn't indicative of the direction of the program, and what was your primary message to them?
Well, I don't know that, I was very aware of that, but I don't know that it caused us to spend more time. We've always spent a lot of time with them throughout the season. We get a lot of, throughout our week of the year, no matter whether things are going your way or not, you're getting guys on the phone throughout the season, and especially early in the week on Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, and just being able to systematically spend time with guys and just stay in constant communication with them and their families. And then also the constant things that I try to send to them, from my phone, throughout that whole period. So I think that there was definitely, a conscious effort to make sure that, they understood, the foundation. But it was interesting because I felt like as I talked to guys, there wasn't a lot of guys that were like, really waffling a lot. I know that may seem, surprising maybe, and I get it. Maybe I was encouraged by that as well, that it couldn't have been more of an issue. But the relationships were pretty strong, and the belief is strong in what we're doing and how we're doing it and how we're building this place. And yeah, there's no question this season was extremely difficult, and nowhere close to what any of us, expected or wanted. And so I just think that the strength of those relationships held us together. And when you have those strong relationships, and that's why I just say this as the case in general, when you have a great foundation, whether it's in recruiting or whether it's in your life or whether it's in this whole program, when the storms come and things get shaken, when the foundation is strong, you weather that storm. And if the foundation is not strong, then things start to fall apart. So there's no question. There's been challenges, and those challenges continue, and you just continue to stay locked in and focused and continue to build and grow. And so I think these guys, they were all in, they were bought in, and they believed in what we were doing. And if you talk to some of them, they're like, Coach, I never once wavered, no matter what happened. And so that was encouraging to hear. And but at the same time, I was aware of it, and we just kept being who we were. And don't make excuses. Don't look for ways out. You just confront things head on, and you just keep building. And that is, to me, the whole focus and what we're trying to do even now, with our guys as we get ready for the 2022 season, So, but yeah, it's, I think it was neat to see these guys stay together. They had built a strong relationship with the group together, and I think that was another thing with social media. Those guys, they messaged each other, they stayed together, they were tight as a group, and I think that helped them stay together through a tough time.
Tom, I guess I had a question a little bit more broadly. This is the first class, I know not the full cycle, but a pretty substantial portion of it, where I imagine people are asking you about name, image, and likeness, how it's involved, probably all manner of questions, all the way down to maybe the microscopic level. Just, again, I know it's only one class. I know it was kind of inserted a little bit midway through, but
Yeah.
in your experiences, how did it come up? Where was it, I guess, I don't want to say on the priorities list of recruits and their families, but what kinds of questions were you getting? What perspective did they seem to have on it and want on it from you?
Yeah. No, that's a good question, because I will say this, and maybe it's because, like you said, the rule was passed, in the middle of this class, in July. And so I honestly did not get near as many questions about it with this class as I thought I would. Definitely received questions. A lot of times it was just, when you have a chance to get people here and you sit in your office and you're sitting there one-on-one and you just kind of go through and you kind of, they've just maybe asked, what does that look like here? What opportunities did your current players what have they been given, and just to go through and talk about that, and so, but there's, I think that a lot of people still, and even with this class for sure, didn't really know exactly what it really entailed. And so there were questions about that, just, hey, what does this really look like? And what opportunities could this create for our son, and I've had very few players, the young men themselves asked, because a lot of times it was parents asking about what that looked like and how that would be able to be something that they could, be able to be a part of when they came here, So I expect more of that with this next class. I think it'll be a bigger topic without question, as more people have seen what's out there and what's going on to other places. And so that's why we have to continue to grow it here and continue to educate our alumni base and the things we can do as a university to be able, within the rules, to be able to maximize this. And so that's a big emphasis and priority for us. So I think it's a very intriguing future for all of us as we go through this together and figure it all out. So, but I do think it'll be more of a topic of discussion with this next class, because there's a lot more information out there right now for them to be able to draw from.
All right, Jim.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
Doing great. How are you?
Good, sir. Thank you. Normally when you have classes, the guys that are coming in, you're marrying recruits to coaches and schemes and all that. When you have the change that's going on, there has gone on with players, how do you still marry the individual recruits to the coaches to the scheme and keep everything as consistent as you want it to be?
Yeah, I think that's a key point, and you talk about probably each side of the football is probably a little different. I think it still comes down to, and I've always say this, that, that they want to see, how do I fit into this. And so I think even when we go through offensively and, just per the position, the guys are already committed to us. And when some changes were created there, the first question is, hey, how's this going to affect me? How does our new offensive coordinator view this position? How's he going to use this position? How am I going to get used? So just being able to talk them through that and having a very specific plan to explain to them, I think that's critical. Defensively is a little different because, the system is our system. That hasn't changed. It's not changing, and so with my involvement, that's kind of more of a staple and more of a stabilizing force, I think, because of that consistency there. So, but yeah, it always comes down to they want to know, how does this affect me? And do you see, and sometimes it's as simple as saying, what, everything we've said to you from the beginning, and since I'm involved in all this recruiting process, I know exactly what they've been told and how we plan to use them. And so, either side of the ball, but I think that's, my involvement in this whole process, that's a huge part of this, but at the same time, they need to hear it from me, and sometimes it's a matter of just a phone call or a face-to-face or whatever to be able to reassure them that everything you've been told in the past is this is going to be how it is. And if there's modifications to that, we'll tell them. But at the end of the day, that's what they want. That's what they deserve, is just clear, open communication about, hey, this is how they're going to fit into the schematic portion of our system. And then the other part is, and this is where I just tell them and I've told our current team this when we had changes, hey, you just got to trust me that I'll hire somebody that fits with us in terms of the kind of men on the field that are coaching your son, or going to be coaching you, or going to be brought here to coach you and influence you on a daily basis. So that's where the fit of the staff and the fit of the culture is such a critical thing to me. And it also creates the consistency you're looking for, to be able to have guys come in here and be a part of this and not have you always have different personalities. I get that, with different coaching styles or different things, that whatever the role might be. And so, but yeah, you just got to, once again, then you start building that relationship with them, with that new staff member. And sometimes, it's just like, wow, you kind of, it can become a really, really good thing. So that's just part of it, and we're just embracing that right now.
All right, we'll open it up for all questions. Start with Zach.
I guess, Tom, sort of a double-barrel thing. Now that you have the running back's job open again, just kind of where do you want to move with that in terms of timing? Do you have someone in mind? How quickly do you want to move with that? And then, I guess to kind of follow up with that, because it is an unusual situation, what are the conversations that you have with Coach McCullough's sons who are on roster? Just, I don't know if you've ever been in a position like that before, where you had, basically players who had a parent on staff, and then the parent moved, but the players decided they wanted to stay. Just what are those conversations like, if you don't mind my asking?
Yeah, I think that, the first part of that, I would say efficiently is the answer, to be able to find a new running backs coach. And so, I think that, that process is obviously underway in a big way. And so I don't expect this to drag out very long. Definitely have guys that you already have on a short list that you want to be able to talk to and bring to campus and get in front of our staff. So that process is going on right now. And so I don't expect this to be dragged out very long. And in regards to his sons, just the two young men that are here with Dealin Jr. and Desan, and just the guys, just knowing them and talking to them and just understanding and that they chose to come to Indiana and they want to be here, and this is their home, and they chose to play here, and they're here with us now, and that to me is a testament to them wanting to be part of this program, and yeah, I've had a situation happen previously to my career, not exactly like this, but in some ways where you had a departure of a father that I was coaching his son now, and so it's just once again relationships, and sitting down one-on-one, face-to-face, and talking and being able to know that that part hasn't changed, and they're their own person in regards to why they chose to come here, and that's why I think even for I think about myself with my own son when he chose to come here, I always wanted to make sure that he was coming here because he wanted to come to Indiana, not because I was coaching here, and I know Coach Mccull feels the same way, as now a dad of two of our our players and one that's committed to us. So, I just know that that's one thing. It's all relationship driven, and guys that they have strong relationship with guys on our staff, and that's part of it. And they have strong relationship with their teammates, and those things are very important. So it's definitely unique without question, and definitely wish Coach McCullough nothing but great things in his future. And so I just have his boys here. Glad they're here, glad they want to be here, and excited about their development and their future in this program. So, Deshaun obviously made a choice to be a big part of this class and help us recruit guys, and he was actively involved in recruiting his teammates that are here now and guys that will be coming in June, and a huge part of that came in every weekend, spent time with us, and came in on the visits and helped us recruit, and was really just dove into it, So there's no question, and that's why it really didn't surprise me with his decision to be able to stay. But you know what? That's a testament to him and what he wants to be a part of.
Dustin and Matt.
So just sort of keeping on that theme, obviously that did make for four guys, leaving, obviously one being your decision, the other three being theirs. I guess, are you in any way worried about that? Obviously you've been able to make hires, you've been able to find replacements quickly, but the fact that you've had three guys go a different direction, does that concern you at all about, just the direction things are going?
No, you just believe in what you're doing. And, yeah, there's no doubt opportunities are presented to guys, and they got to make decisions about their future and where they want to be. And when I get coaches calling me to want to interview our guys, we've had a lot of guys in the last few years receive opportunities because of what they've done here. And I've had those coaches reach out and say, hey, I want to talk to so-and-so about a position on our staff. And there was those things happened here just now, and there's no doubt that change can be hard, and you don't always want it, because you got to obviously go through and find other people that to come in here. But to say concerned, no. But it's just part of the challenge of being able to continue to build, and continue to, once again, I think it's just no different than what we talked about with the players, that chose to come here and all the challenges that we had with this season, and they chose to stay the course, and then you have coaches here decide to go pursue a different opportunity. And so I know I know every situation, all of them, and I know exactly as we've talked and I've shared with them, and I've talked with these guys, and there's a lot of respect that we have for each other and with what we do. And so it was a lot of open, honest kind of communications, which is what I want our guys to have. And so that's part of it, and I know that I have beliefs about things, and I'm not going to be distracted and not going to blink when change occurs or things happen that I didn't expect to happen. But at the same time, you believe in what you're building. Accountability, toughness, and love is our foundation. That hasn't changed, and LEO is a big part of who we're all about, and it's about those accountabilities within our program with our players and our coaches. So to me, we're just trying to find a way to continue to grow and develop our team. We got to get better. There's no question. This last season was not acceptable, and got to create change. So sometimes these opportunities give us a chance to create that change in different ways that you might have expected, and allow us to grow and continue to build this program. So that's our mindset.
Matt and Kevin.
Hey, Coach. There's been a lot of pictures on social media, Twitter, and such of players going out, like maybe being at restaurants or hanging out somewhere at somebody's place. How much have you seen the team bond, here in the winter since the end of the season, and try to come together with the mindset, to try to obviously bounce back from last season?
Well, the thing that excites me is, we have a core group of guys that came to see me, after the season, and just, wanted to be a part of the change, to be able to know, hey, this is unacceptable, and we want to create that. It didn't happen anywhere close to what we wanted. And so got a lot of strong leadership on this team, and just doing some things as a program to be able to encourage that. We knew we were going to have some new faces this year. And, we had 36 seniors that went through the senior day for us here that had graduated, and we're in that situation because of, and it's the group twice the normal size due to the COVID year that everybody has been given. And we knew there's going to be some turnover, and there's going to be some, you have so many spots, and we had to go back to the 85, and so that we knew there's going to be some, we have 19 guys currently on our team right now that weren't here in the fall, that are here this spring. And so wanted to be able to encourage ways to find, ways to build our team, and build those relationships with these new guys. And so just they've dove into that, and that's what they're doing, and they're trying to be together and find ways to be together and spend time together, get to know each other outside of, the things that we do, in football or going to class together, but things off campus and whether it's going out to eat together or hanging out together, doing different things and going bowling or doing activities together. Obviously, that's what we're trying to do. So our guys have bought into that, and we've got accountability teams we're using here for the first time since I've been here to be able to create those different things, and I'm excited about what our guys have bought into and our coaches as well. So, yeah, it's just building a team. That's what this is all about, and the big core of that is relationships with each other as players, and then build a relationship with the coaches as well. So that's definitely going to be really critical as we have a lot of new faces to be able to come together because, as always is the case, the best team wins on game day.
All right, Kevin, and we'll wrap up with Tom.
Because the reason why I asked about Cam Jones is I saw his picture with teammates, another guy, DJ Matthews. Is he definitely back? And how is his recovery going from knee surgery? Do you expect him back for the season? Is there paperwork to be done with the NCAA with that, or what's his current status?
Yeah, DJ Matthews is definitely back and doing his rehab. Matter of fact, today was probably his most aggressive day working out with us. He was out there yesterday as well, and he and I meet weekly, and just excited about him and his progress. I know that the recovery from an ACL injury is not easy. It's very challenging physically and mentally, and so excited for him to be able to be with us here for an additional year. Wasn't expecting that, when he first came here a year ago. I thought it was going to be a one season, but he had a redshirt year that he was able to use, and he's utilizing that. And but yeah, excited for him and those guys. Even Cam chose to come back for an additional year as well. And so yeah, guys that we're really counting on. And a guy like DJ is a special young man, and just really enjoyed getting to know him, to a high degree. He and I have spent a lot of time together, and that will continue. And so we're just trying to get him full speed, for this summer, so he can be able to have a great, preparation. He will not be practicing in the spring, but will continue his rehab. But he is on schedule, and he's doing well.
All right, Tom.
All right. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right.
Yeah, Tom Bruce. Sorry, go ahead, Tom.
As you near getting ready to actually get on the field and do stuff in the spring, based on sort of what just happened, what are the 2 or 3 things that you're really looking most forward to making sure that you get accomplished this spring?
Well, we're about a month away. March 5th is our first spring practice, so I'll go through and set out specific things that we want to do as a whole team, but there's no question. I think when you have this many new faces of players, some new coaches, more new coaches than we had in the last couple of years here collectively. So that I think just being able to develop our guys within our system. To me, there's just fundamental things that we know we got to get better at. There's no question. I talk about, running the football better. To me, that's a big focus, being able to, and the fundamentals of that, and to being able to increase our ability to be effective in that way. And right now, to me, it's throwing the football better. We've been a team that's thrown the ball well the last several years, and that did not take place last year. So those are 2 key base things that we have to be able to do with some new receivers, new running backs, and continue to build and develop our offensive line. To me, is going to be huge for us defensively. We went from being the number 1 team in the Big Ten at taking the ball away in 2020 to the worst team in the Big Ten at taking the ball away, which is inexcusable. And several other categories on defense, we went from the top to the bottom, in one season. So that's things that we're going to be addressing without question, and to be able to reestablish some of those things. So to me, it's really kind of a refocus on some fundamental things, takeaways, tackling, effort on defense. The toughness on offense I want to see us have up front, to me, is going to be a huge emphasis, and developing those fundamentals to be able to do the things we have to be able to do to run the football effectively, which is obviously blocking up front, blocking on the perimeter, and being able to do a great job of implementing some new things schematically. So going to be a lot of things to accomplish, a lot of things that I want to focus on, but to me, those stick out to me right now, and just a sense of urgency to be able to get back out there and and get the bad taste of 2021 out of our mouths. And obviously, it's just a thing that, you don't dwell on the past, but man, it's a huge motivator because I know that it's not who we are and what we want to be. So that, to me, the spring is a great time for us to be able to work through those things and get back on the football field and get back to playing football the way I know we can, and I expect us to, and I believe we will.